welcome, Lockdown Workshop. It's me, Mark, and today we have got some brakes that need bleeding. Well, I'll tell you a little story about these. These are some brakes that need re-bleeding. So this bike came in last Saturday, and I did a brake bleed on it, but when I was bleeding the brakes, I was cheating slightly. I was bleeding it through the tap hole instead of through the bleed valve at the side, because I was being lazy. And it's a good job I did actually, because when I was bleeding it, there was a load of particles came through with it. And we couldn't work out why it had lost fluid. It lost quite a bit of fluid. There's no visible signs that it had been seeping anywhere, but what I did discover was, when I went and looked on the schematic, I did notice that on this bleed pin, I'll take it out, should have a seal on it, and the seal wasn't there. So I suspect that at manufacturing, because this is mineral oil, so it shouldn't eat the rubber. And I've seen loads of these. I've never seen the rubber been eaten before. I wouldn't expect that to happen. So we've got another rubber seal to replace on there, and then we'll bleed it properly through the little bleed nipple at the side here. I basically cheated because I couldn't be bothered to try and put the thing on. Way too many tools stuck in here at the moment, my liking, because I'm still working in a temporary with a temporary toolkit down here, and it's not the tools I'd normally work with, so I haven't got a lot of the tools. I was doing a lot of running up and down to the garage, and I was getting a little bit miffed off, I'll be honest. Let's take that off carefully. Interesting, they are the same for all of them. So that's the bleed nipple I'm supposed to bleed through, not the one I want. Tube that fits nicely over that. And that's not on it then. That one seems to fit nicely. I thought there was a. Oh, it does fit okay. Yeah, that fits fine, and we can lock it off if need to. Just need to in the instructions it says use the back, I suspect that helps it flip over. Just test that theory. That should go through there. It's through there. And I think that should now go on there, and then that should pin it, and then I can empty that out the bottom there into something flexible. I would normally use something like that. Just got to be careful because that might come off there. Right, we'll get that pin out of there first. I think it's a 4, right? It's not a 3. It's not a 3 now. Unfortunately, I'm working with rather a small net, and I did the cardinal sin as well. I sent the bike back without that caliper nutting. Because I'm not working where I'd normally be working. I haven't got my normal boxer bit. So right, I don't know if you can see that. That should have a washer there, and it hasn't. So we have a washer. 99p. from SJS, SJR, SJS, SJR, don't know, SJS cycles. They seem to be quite good actually. I've never come across them before, but then over the last month or so I've had to buy a few little niche Shimano parts, and these have had them every single time. So relatively impressed with them. I don't appear to have a no, I thought I've got a. Why haven't I got the knife? I put it in the specialist tool for. Don't look. These things, they put them in a sealed bag, but the plastic in the bag is such a pain up the backside to get it open that if you try and rip it out, you'll end up knackering the seal, and they are quite fragile. I was going to steal a seal off one of the syringes, but I wasn't convinced of the sizing, so that's where it should sit. Now what I suspect happened is that that's either not been put on properly, and when it's been driven in, it's damaged it. So that should sit in there, and the idea is you back that out, and that seal stops the liquid from coming out. But it leaves the bleed hole. It leaves the bleed hole open, and you can probably see that possibly there's some stuff coming through. Right, that's yep. Right, so we'll crack that off. Right, and then I think there's a specific order you have to do with bleeding into it. So I'll put that there, and I've got a reservoir for it. Now I need to take the bleeding out of the brake lever, which is all the way up there. We need a small one for that, which I haven't got. Get that out of the way. The other thing you've got to do as well is you've got to make sure that your grips are flat. Sorry, you're not your grips. Your you can't see what I'm doing, can you? So what I'm doing here is I'm just adjusting the brake lever so it's upright. For this, it needs to be upright. I think we might have to drop the bike down a bit as well. Stop sneaking around the back. Yeah, that's too high. Hold on to your horses, I'm coming down to you. Don't want it too low. Let's get you up so you can see what I'm up to. Up periscope. The sound is absolutely awful. We're just going to pop that lid off now. I do vaguely recall. I might not have the right one. Yep, this is 2 and I haven't got a 2. Small torque strip. I am completely lost. No, I got that off. No, I got it off. do have other options. I do have slightly confused with how I did that. How did I do that? Now I'm getting it. I got that off with the black. That's cool, but I'm having here. I don't want to sleep on it. Right then, so do have a toolkit that I've got in my it should be 2 mil into it. I still don't know how I got that off. The bike kit out of the mountain bike. Of course, it's all absolutely seized up. It lives in my mountain bike kit. These are not the easiest things to use either. I think that's the right size. Try it on that one. Right. Let's just pop that one out of there. Don't lose the rubber. See, look at that. The rubber seal was coming off that as well, then, and that's the same size one. I wonder if that's the problem. Something's been in there before. Anyway, right. So that effectively creates a secondary reservoir on top of the reservoir that's already there, and we can just drop a good dollop of mineral oil. So this is mineral oil, not to be confused with dot oil. You mix dot and mineral oil, it's the end of the world. Cows start being born with 3 heads and various other bad things that you don't want to happen. Right. That's good, there's already oil coming down. And I think we're pretty much already out of there, so that's good. I'm cheating slightly. You would normally fill this up and then do a lot of blowback. So this would be full and you'd push it in, but that just pushes air in. I'm drawing it down, assuming that I don't have the air. The air isn't trapped there, the air's trapped down here. Which I think it is, to be honest, because this is where we have the issue. That's just loaded that up. I'll try and keep this high so all the bubbles come this way. They should all start rising up. Right, you can't see what I'm doing down there, can you? Right, so what I've done is I've just drawn the syringe out and drawn the bubbles out of there, and because I'm hanging the syringe up there, the bubbles are now going to rise upwards, and they have done. Right, so all the bubbles are gone. So what I can do now is, if there were any bubbles back at the other end, is I can put some pressure back in the system and fill up the reservoir at the top and push any bubbles that we had at the top back up. Oops, that's what I was worried about with this syringe. It doesn't pin onto there very well. Right, so just checking what we need to do in the order we need to do it in. Simply close the bleed nipple. With the bleed nipple closing screw. Now we've got a nice seal on that. Right, that's good. That's it. Bleeding air. Bleeding air. We've got that out. Right, with the brake lever depressed, open and close the bleed nipple. Yeah, I wouldn't do it like this, but I'm going to follow the instructions for once. Oh, we've got a good lever. So what this does now is this forces. So this is traditionally how you would bleed a car. So I'm pressing the master cylinder down and then forcing any remaining air out of the, and then pumping it back up again, getting good pressure, and then locking it off and then letting it fill back up again. Right, so I think we're good there. That feels solid, good solid lever. I'm going to do the other one as well because I did notice the other one was bad when I took it out of the car. Tilt the brake lever backwards, yeah. So we're supposed to tilt this forwards and backwards, but I don't think we need to do that, but we'll humour it. That's something I've never done before. Never felt the need to. So I kind of get what they're doing. You would do this on a motorbike one, so I've tilted it down 30. Just going to get some squeezing, make sure any air that's trapped in there is out, and then we're going to do it the other way. Back up. Same thing. Put it back down again. Lock it off level. Squeeze it. No sign of any bubbles coming out of there. That's good. One last check. I think all we do now is put the plunger in and remove it. Yeah, drop the plunger in, remove it, and stick the bolt in. Stick the bolt back in. You find that too that plunger goes in there, and then that stops all the brake fluid from pouring on the floor when I pull this out. And then I can stick this back in when I find a little Allen key. Then I put down some of that shit from the system point. You got any Allen keys in here? Oh, see you there. Yeah. Right. So I've got that ready. make sure the seal's where it should be. Right, so we've been bleeding this, we've angled it up, angled it down. Now we just need to put the plunger in there, a little plunger in there to stop the fluid from coming out of this when I unscrew this. So I can just unscrew that. Tighten that back up and we should have good brakes. Right, we'll do the same for the back brakes now. Do that in the camera box. Right, watch me do the back brake now. There we go, let's do it right. Because that's not annoying that it's in a completely different place. Before we forget though, we will put we'll take this off. So, suck it through. Put that over there out of the way. God, it stinks mineral oil. That's not a... Oh. Go on, get your eyes tested, Toller. Try and shove it onto the split pin then. There's a bleed nipple. Might do this in much better. That's it. Quick shot of brake fluid. That should do it. Right. Then again on this one now. Yeah, that's really spongy as well. We'll get that one done as well. So, same thing, we just need to get that bleeding block. Get the thing attached to it. Taking that off. That's not going to work unless I get rid of some of this air. In theory now I should be able to crack that open. Oh. Yay. Thanks for getting with the other one. I'll try and get you in the frame for all of this. Same thing again, we'll just stick that upside down. Sorry, stick that right so it's level. Take out the bleed nipple. Make sure the rubber seals come out, which it had, but it's hanging off like the other one. Stick the reservoir on. Right. Right, so what I've done now, I've done it like this one because this one I do suspect the air was up in the lever, so I've just pressed this in, forced the load on. While you were pointing at that, you will have heard a load of bubbles coming out of this one. I think we've just, even though we'd left that in, it was forcing the bubbles past it. So I'm just giving it a quick more. Yeah. We'll give it a, oops. Hold the top of that. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to draw a bit more fluid down. I've got to be careful because that connection isn't very good on there. So we might see bubbles and it's actually drawing air around the connection. But it looks okay. So all's looking good there at the moment. Just put that in there. And we will do what we did with the other one now. We will give it some squares. So what we need to do now is pressurize this. I'm going to close this cylinder down back here. We'll close the bleed nipple down like we did with the other one. That's closed. I'm going to build up some pressure in the top. We've got good pressure there. I'm now going to release it. I'm going to lock it off again. I'm going to let the build up good pressure again. Hold it in. Out we go. Just going to adjust the angle of this, just in case we've got some air trapped in there. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. So if you're going to get battered, you've just got battered. Just do that again. There's one of the. Just give it a little knock, and the bubbles get stuck in there. Get knocked to one side then. Same as we did before. I'm just going to angle this at a different angle. I think that's good. Just going to lock that off now. We can remove that. Give that a quick back down and toolbox with. There we go. The problem with it now that it's pointing downwards is the reservoir. The handlebars are likely to go for a spinner. But all we've got to do now, same as before, we've got a good solid brake lever on there. You do always get a bit more sponge in the back because it's than the front because it's got longer to travel. But we should whip that off now and just stick the button back in. Put the plunger in so we don't tip the brake fluid all over the floor. Giving the brake disc a quick wipe down. That's all sorted, both ends. The only thing I need to do now is just drop these grips down to where they used to be. Put it back in. Right, so they're solid now. Really pleased with that. That's it. That's a breathe your brakes. I'm sure everybody's got comments about different ways of doing it. I wouldn't normally do it like that. I was just following what it said in the instruction manual. Normally I would have just gone in with the plunger, filled up the plunger to full, and then just wazzed an entire tube through into an empty reservoir up there, and then drawn it back, or just filled the reservoir up and pulled it back. The thing with the syringe is I know I've got more solution in the syringe and it holds in the system anyway, so if I force at least 2/3 of the syringe through, I know I've purged the entire system, and that's the best way for actually doing a brake fluid swap. But for how old this bike is and looking at the state of the brake fluid that was on it, that was coming out of it, it's fine. They feel great now, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to leave us a bit more of a wipe off. Tubs of brake fluid, it does get everywhere. It does. Some things it eats, some things it doesn't. I think Dot's worse. The Dot stuff's worse, but that's a synthetic hydraulic solution, whereas that's hydraulic fluid, whereas the mineral oil is more of a spirit-based one. I don't know why some favour this, some favour that. Shimano stick to this. Some of the others use dot 3, dot 4, dot 5. Motorbikes are mainly your dots as well, and cars are dots. So it is what it is. Anyway, right. Hope that's useful for somebody. Just in case you're wondering, it is a Trek 27 and a half or 650B size bike. Nice bike. It's got a coil spring preload suspension. It's not air suspension, but it has got hydraulic brakes on. It's got a square taper bottom bracket, which is possibly my only concern over this, is that they generally have a short lifespan. and that the through axle sealed bearings tend to work better on mountain bikes. They don't work so well on mountain bikes. But hydraulic brakes, shocks, unless you're really hammering it, you're not going to notice the difference between an air shock and a coil spring. But they are 32, so they are quite thick. Anyway, right, we'll leave it there. That's a relatively short one today. Job's a good one. No, I didn't forget to put the bolt back in. It's going back in now, and it's had a bit of liquid thread lock on it as well. And yes, I would normally torque it up, but I haven't got my torque bits down here, so I'm going to go click. That's good and tight. Now job's a good one. Remember, like, subscribe, it really helps the channel. Catch you later.